beautiful people. Today, let's take a look at your renal function tests. Of course, your renal function tests, these are procedures performed to determine the ability of the kidneys to carry out its metabolic functions. So what are the functions of your kidneys, the metabolic functions of your kidneys? Of course, first you have your renal or your glomerular filtration, and then your tubular reabsorption followed by tubular secretion. Now, again, in renal function tests, it includes tests that are used to detect these functions in the glomerular filtration, in tubular reabsorption, or in tubular secretion. But then first, let's take a look at the concept of renal clearance. The concept of your renal clearance. Your renal clearance, accordingly, is defined as the volume of plasma in milliliters that is completely cleared of a substance per unit of time. Again, your renal clearance is the volume of plasma in ml that is completely cleared of a substance per unit of time. That is why in a clearance test, usually the unit of measurement is ml per minute. It is expressed in milliliters per minute. Please note that your kidneys your kidneys need adequate blood flow to filter substances. Okay, again, the kidneys require or it needs adequate blood flow to filter substances. Okay, and that is your what you call this your total renal plasma flow is 600 to 700 ml per minute. Okay, again, yeah, the what they call this, the adequate blood flow to filter substances or your renal plasma flow, as what you call is actually your 600 to 700 ml per minute. Okay, this number, the 600 to 700 ml per minute here, this one actually is the blood flow that reaches your renal corpuscle. Okay, and yes. But then in the glomerulus, please note that the plasma is filtered. The plasma is filtered, but accordingly, not all of the plasma, not all of the plasma is filtered. Okay, what will happen to the portions that are not filtered in the glomerulus? So they will go into your peritubular capillaries. The unfiltered plasma will go into your peritubular capillaries, wherein, okay, in the peritubular capillaries, what will happen in your peritubular capillaries is there is this tubular reabsorption and in your peritubular capillaries, tubular reabsorption, and then in your vasa recta, you have your tubular secretion that will take place. Okay, and so when a solute is only filtered or when a substance is only filtered, then the amount appearing in the urine directly reflects how much plasma was filtered. Again, when a solute is only filtered, the solute is not secreted nor reabsorbed, then the amount that appears in the urine directly reflects how much plasma was filtered. Or in other words, if a solute is only filtered, the urine concentration reflects how much plasma was processed. Okay? So, your kidneys remove a substance from a certain volume of plasma. Again, the kidneys remove a substance from a certain volume of plasma. Meaning, every minute, the kidneys remove from the blood an amount of substance that is equal to what is contained in a certain volume of plasma. So let's take a look at this example in your creatinine clearance. Suppose you have a clearance of 120 ml per minute. So every minute, the kidneys remove from the blood an amount of creatinine that is equal to what is contained in 120 ml of plasma. Okay, that is for your renal clearance. That is for the renal clearance. Before we move on, okay, that is your renal clearance again. Renal function tests include tests that measures the capacity of your glomerulus and your tubules to reabsorb, to filter and to reabsorb or secrete substances respectively. So your glomerular filtration tests, it includes your clearance test. Your clearance test, this is the standard test used to determine the filtering capacity of the glomeruli. And yes, your glomerular filtration rate, just to define, your glomerular filtration rate, that is the rate at which the kidneys are able to remove a filterable substance. Okay, your GFR. So your clearance test, this is your standard test used to determine your glomerular filtration rate. Okay, so your clearance test, it measures the rate at which the kidneys can remove a filterable substance from the blood. So you have here listed criteria for a substance to be used in clearance test. You have your criteria here for a substance to be used in clearance tests accordingly. So first is the substance should be neither reabsorbed nor secreted by the tubules. It is neither reabsorbed nor secreted by the tubules, meaning it should only be filtered in the glomerulus. Again, the substance should only be filtered in the glomerulus. Please note, the substance should only be filtered in the glomerulus and it should not be reabsorbed nor be secreted. Okay, and then of course you have what you call this criteria. Another criteria is the stability of a substance in urine during a possible 24-hour collection period. Possible 24-hour collection period, because there are substances that are not stable or that are destroyed in urine. Okay, and they are not stable in 24-hour collection period. There are substances again that are destroyed, okay, and it will not stay long in the urine for a span of the collection time. And then of course consistency of the plasma level. Consistency of the plasma level. For this consistency, of course, it should be okay, and so maintained at a constant level or constant rate in the plasma. And yes, as part criteria for the substance, it should be what you call this, the substance for clearance test should be available to the body, availability to the body. Okay, and so if that is readily available or readily present, or you need to administer. And availability of the test for analysis. Availability of the test for analysis. Okay, and so these are the criteria for the substance used in a clearance test. Okay, and so of course you also need to consider the availability of a test for analysis. What if it is absent? What if the substance is what if there is no known, no, what you call this, no known method in detecting that substance yet? Okay, or what if okay, the laboratory, okay, and so it's not equipped in doing that test. Okay, and so those are criteria, okay, utilized for the substance used in clearance test. Please note accordingly that there are two types of substances. Accordingly, you have endogenous and exogenous. Okay, and so Endogenous substances, of course, these are readily available inside the body. Okay, and so they are produced inside the body, while your exogenous, okay, and so they are not produced inside the body, and you need to administer this one externally. Okay, for your exogenous substances, you need to administer them externally. How? You need to inject. Accordingly, in exogenous substances or in what they call this administration of your exogenous substances, it is done by injection, okay, or administering the substance, okay, through injection, okay. Accordingly, your exogenous substances or your exogenous procedure, it is accordingly more accurate. It is a more accurate measure of glomerular filtration rate comparing it with endogenous substances. But then, here's the thing. Your exogenous substances or the procedure in doing your exogenous substances, it is expensive. It is expensive, time consuming, and inconvenient for the patient. Okay, and so time consuming and inconvenient. Why? Because what you call this, some exogenous substances require a multiple administration. Some exogenous substances require multiple administration. That is why, of course, it is time consuming and inconvenient sa part ng pasyente that the patient needs to what you call this be disturbed just to get injected with the substance for clearance test. Okay? Okay, so yes, you have here your uh, clinical significance of your clearance test. So by the way, when we say clinical significance, it is the importance of the test or what do you call this? If you were asked kasi about what is the clinical significance of polyuria? Okay, what is the clinical significance of polyuria? Do not just simply polyuria is an increase in urine volume. Okay, that is not actually the answer because you are only defining the term polyuria. When you say clinical significance, okay, so what is it then? Anong ibig sabihin kapag maraming ihi? What is Are there related diseases? Are there abnormalities in the patient? Ganon po dapat ang sagot kapag ganon. If you were asked about clinical significance, okay, what are the disease related to that phenomenon? Ganon po dapat ang sagot. Anyway, going back, so these are the clinical importance of your clearance test. Your clearance test, they are utilized to determine the extent of uh, nephron damage in known cases of renal disease. Of course, your clearance test is utilized to evaluate your renal function and renal blood flow. Your clearance test, please note, it is used to evaluate your renal function and renal blood flow. In evaluating of your renal function, of course, you're going to evaluate if there is a disease process that is occurring. And aside from that, your clearance test is utilized to monitor effectiveness of treatment. It is used to monitor the effectiveness of treatment. Again, so to monitor the effectiveness of treatment, of course, if it is, if there is a good prognosis taking place or if there is a bad prognosis taking place. And of course, it is also utilized to determine the feasibility of administering medications. It is utilized to determine the feasibility of administering medications because there are drug metabolites or there are drugs which are toxic to the kidneys. Okay, that is why you somewhat need to check You need to check your kidneys. You need to check the health of your kidneys before administering a medication. Baka mamaya nag-administer ka ng medication at lalo palang sinira yung kidneys mo. Ganun po siya. Okay, so those are the use or the clinical utility or clinical significance of your clearance test. Your endogenous clearance test. Your endogenous clearance test, please note that under this, we will take a look at your urea clearance test, creatinine, cystatin C, and beta 2 microglobulin. Okay, your urea, it is actually the first substance to be utilized for clearance test. Okay, actually, your urea and creatinine, they are the candidates experimented to approximate your inulin. Inulin kasi is the standard clearance test. Okay, inulin clearance is the standard test kasi. Okay, and the sad thing kasi for inulin, it is an exogenous substance. Okay? Your urea, your urea, however, comparing it with creatinine, your urea is reabsorbed by the tubules. Okay, and so please note it is reabsorbed by the tubules. The first criteria for a substance to be utilized in clearance test is it should not it should not be reabsorbed nor secreted. Dapat nafi-filter lang. Yes, it is readily filtered, but it is partially reabsorbed by the renal tubules. And please note, sabi niya po, 40% of urea, filtered urea is reabsorbed. 40% of filtered urea is reabsorbed. Hindi lang po sa basta-bastang 40% lang. Malaking porsyento po yon. Okay, that 40% is relatively high. Okay? Aside from that, your urea, your urea is the concentration is directly affected by urine flow rate. It is directly affected by urine flow rate. Aside from that, diet affects plasma levels of urea. Why? Because your urea urea actually is a byproduct of protein metabolism. So, meaning if there is an increased protein in the diet, it will cause an increased levels of plasma urea. Because again, your urea, the source of urea is your protein. It is again a byproduct of protein metabolism. So, of course, okay, and so with that being said, your urea clearance test is imprecise and inaccurate. And please note, it is no longer performed. Yes, your urea clearance test measures renal functions, but then is not specific for glomerular filtration. It is not specific for glomerular filtration. Accordingly, since this one, 40% of urea is reabsorbed, there is this adjusted normal value. Your patients are hydrated to produce a urine flow of 2 ml per minute to ensure that no more than 40% of urea was reabsorbed. Okay? But then, please note, it is no longer performed. Your creatinine clearance test. Please note that your creatinine clearance test, it is routinely performed for screening glomerular filtration. Okay, by the way, your creatinine is a waste product of muscle metabolism. Okay, it your creatinine is a waste product of muscle metabolism. Of course, creatine is produced by the kidneys, and then your creatine is stored in the muscle in the form of phosphocreatine. Okay, it is stored in the muscle in the form of phosphocreatine. Of course, during muscle contraction, no, phosphocreatine is broken down to produce ATP or to produce energy. Okay, it is broken down to produce energy. And yes, what you call this, during the process, it is somewhat converted into creatinine. Okay, and so it is somewhat converted into creatinine. So your creatinine is a waste product of muscle metabolism, and it is normally found at a normal or relatively constant level. Sorry, it is normally found at a relatively constant level in the blood. Okay, and so but then you have here in your creatinine clearance test, the greatest source of error is an improperly timed specimen. Is an improperly timed specimen. Okay, and so because for this one, you need you need a timed sample. Okay, normal values for your creatinine clearance test. For males, you have 107 to 139 ml per minute. Okay, it is 107 to 139 ml per minute, while for your females, it is 87 to 107 ml per minute. For females, it is 87 to 107 ml per minute. Okay, and so because please note the normal values, they are somewhat different for males and females. Kasi sabi natin, your creatinine is a waste product of muscle metabolism. And yes, your males, they have a greater muscle mass compared with the females. So you have here the advantages. Your creatinine is not bound to protein. It is not bound to protein. Please note. And yes, it is not reabsorbed and only a small amount is secreted. Please note, it is not reabsorbed and only a small amount of creatinine is secreted. At least 7 to 10% of creatinine is secreted. And yes, it has a relatively uh, stable. It is relatively stable and a constant level in the blood, and it is less affected by fluid intake comparing it with your urea. Here are the disadvantages of creatinine clearance test. First listed here is, accordingly, if there is an increased levels of creatinine in the blood, there will also be an increased secretion. Okay, again, if there is an increased blood levels of creatinine, there will also be an increased secretion of creatinine. Secretion again takes place in the renal tubules. And yes, creatinine is secreted. Okay, it is secreted by the renal tubules. Pero unti lang naman at 7 to 10%. Okay? And yes, your creatinine clearance test or creatinine tests are affected by your plasma chromogens that are present, of course, in the plasma. Please note again that these chromogens, they react in the chemical analysis or they interfere in the chemical analysis. Again, they interfere, causing a falsely decreased levels of creatinine. However, they see chromogens may help counteract the falsely elevated rates caused by tubular secretion. Okay, and so because there is this 7 to 10% or there is this small amount of creatinine that is secreted by the renal tubules, causing a falsely elevated results in the urine. And yes, in the plasma, there is a false decrease results due to the presence of chromogens that will affect the results. or that will interfere with the analysis. And then you have here your what you call this medications. So your medications like gentamicin, cephalosporin, and cimetidine. These are antibiotics which somewhat inhibit tubular secretion of creatinine, causing a false decreased results. And accordingly, your creatinine is susceptible to bacterial action at room temperature. It is susceptible to bacterial action at room temperature. That is why collection, okay, and so requires uh, chilling, or it requires placing the sample in a refrigerator. Kasi please note that usually for creatinine clearance test, it requires a 24-hour urine collection. It requires a 24-hour urine collection. That is why you need to place the sample, or you need to place the collected urine, okay, waiting for the 24 hours to be completed. You need to place them in the refrigerator to uh avoid degradation, or you need to keep them chilled, something like that. Okay, and yes, again, please note, it is affected, your or creatinine is affected by diet and muscle mass. It is affected by diet and muscle mass, meaning that if there is an increased if there is an increased uh, meat intake or protein intake, then it will also cause an increased uh, creatinine levels. Again, creatinine clearance test is affected by diet, meaning that if there is an increased meat intake, then it will also cause an increase creatinine levels. Okay, it will also cause an increased creatinine levels, and it is affected by muscle mass. Because please note, kaya po, that is why there is a difference, that is why there is a different normal values for male and female, primarily because of a differences in muscle mass. Okay? It is not reliable. Your creatinine clearance test is not reliable for patients with muscle wasting syndrome. Okay, and so because of course in patients with muscle wasting syndrome, there is an increased creatinine in their circulation, as well as individuals doing heavy exercise, because again, the source of your creatinine is muscle metabolism. And when you do heavy exercise, there is more creatinine that is released, or that is produced. Okay, and so individuals doing heavy exercise, or individuals or athletes taking in creatine, or athletes taking in creatine accordingly. Again, okay, creatinine clearance test is not reliable for patients with muscle wasting syndrome, individuals with doing heavy exercise, and individuals taking in significant amounts, or taking in creatine. Okay, and yes, another disadvantage is your creatinine clearance test. It should be corrected for body surface area. It should be corrected for body surface area. Okay, and so later on, okay, and so we will show you how body surface area is uh, calculated. And yes, it must be adjusted in children. Okay, and so it must be adjusted in children. Okay, those are disadvantages of creatinine clearance test. You have here the formula for creatinine clearance. You have your C equals U times V over P. Your C here is your clearance rate in ml per minute. And then your U is your urine creatinine concentration in milligrams per DL. And then V equals your urine plasma in ml per minute. And then your P is your plasma creatinine in milligrams per DL. Please note that you will cancel out the milligrams per DL as the values of your urine and plasma creatinine. You need to cancel this one out. Kaya po ang matitira na unit of measurement is ml per minute. Okay, so the unit of measurement in creatinine clearance or the clearance rate here is in ml per minute. Okay, and then sabi natin earlier, you need to adjust. Okay, and so at times you need to adjust. Okay, so you have here an addition, 1.73 and an A. The C, the U, the V, the P here, they are the same variables with this one. Okay, and so they are same variables. The 1.73 here is the 1.73 again is the average body surface area in meters squared, and the A is the actual body size in meters squared or the body surface area. Okay, the body surface area of an individual is determined by using the patient's height and weight. Okay, and so it is determined by using the patient's height and weight. You can make use of what you call this. You can make use of this formula in calculating the A or the SA, the surface area. For some references, kasi they make use of SA here, the surface area, or you can make use of your nomogram. Okay, you can make use of your nomogram. Okay, and determining the surface area. Okay, and so but then let's take a look at this formula. Okay, and so your fortus, you use your scientific calculator in doing this. Your 0.425 times log weight. The weight should be in kilograms. It should be in kilograms, and then the height should be in centimeters. The height should be in centimeters. And then, of course, you minus 2.144 here. Okay, and so to get the log A. Okay, and so to get the log A. And then, of course, you need to do anti-log to get the surface area. You need to do anti-log to get the surface area accordingly. That is your formulas in creatinine clearance. So let's practice. You have here a problem, a sample problem. A 24-year-old male submits his urine for 24 hours. The doctor requested for a creatinine 24-hour creatinine clearance test, and the results are you have your urine creatinine concentration is 110 milligrams per DL. Urine volume is 2 liters in 24 hours. And then plasma creatinine is 1.7 milligrams per DL. The required is to calculate the creatinine clearance in ml per minute. First is, of course, you need to convert this one 2 liters into ml per minute. Okay, 2 liters in ml per minute. So you have, of course, okay, and so you convert 2 liters into ml, then that is how many ml are there in 1 liter? You have 1,000. Okay, 1,000 ml. So you have 2 liters, then of course it is 2,000 ml. 2,000 ml. Okay? And then for the 24 hours, of course, you need to convert this one in minutes. Okay, so 24, 1, you have what you call this 60 minutes. 60 minutes times what you call this 60 minutes times 24 because you have 24 hours. Diba? So you have 24 times 60 giving you 1,440, sorry, giving you 1,440 minutes. So how are you going to do this? 2,000 ml divided by 1,440 liters to get the ml per minute. Okay, and so 2,000 divided by 1,440, that is 1,440, that is 1.3888, or let's make it 1.39 na lang. Okay, and so you substitute 110 milligrams per dl, multiply it by 110 milligrams per dl, multiply it by the urine volume, which is 1.39 ml per minute, and then you divide 1.7. Okay, and the answer is 89 point something. That is the answer for this one. Okay, and so that is for your urine creatinine. I mean, that is for your creatinine clearance in ml per minute. Let's practice. Okay, and so using the sample, the problem presented. A 35-year-old male submits his urine for 24 hours. Okay, and so please, you try this. Okay, and your required is to calculate the creatinine clearance in ml per minute and calculate for the corrected clearance. Okay. Another one. Okay, it's using an 8-year-old girl who submits her urine for 24 hours, and the following are the results obtained. Okay, the what you call this, your the required are your creatinine. You calculate the creatinine clearance in ml per minute, and then you calculate for the corrected clearance also. Okay, and so please practice. After calculating the creatinine clearance, you interpret your results also. Of course, you have the normal values listed here. For males, it is 107 to 139 ml per minute. For females, it is 87 to 107 ml per minute. Okay, and so you have here your intervals based on reference intervals based on the age of your patient. Okay, and of course, the gender. Okay, so please note that your glomerular filtration rate, it is actually determined by both the number of functioning nephrons and the functional capacity of the nephrons. Okay, again, it is both determined, or it is determined by both the number of functioning nephrons. If you have a what they call this more nephrons that are functioning well, then of course it will give you a GFR that is normal. Okay, and so what about the functional capacity? If if your functioning nephrons are doubling, they are doubling their job. Okay, and so if they are working double time to what they call this, to do their job, then somewhat the GFR also is normal. Okay, it is normal. Please note that the GFR, it does not detect your glomerular filtration rate. It does not detect the number of nephrons that are affected. And it does not, yes, it does not detect the number of nephrons that are affected. Meaning, your creatinine clearance is not a sensitive test to detect or to check or to detect a kidney disease. Your creatinine clearance test or your creatinine alone, your creatinine is not a sensitive test to detect kidney disease. And as such, we said earlier that your clearance tests, they are used to determine the extent of nephron damage. Okay, in known cases of renal disease. Okay, and so because accordingly, for your creatinine to be elevated, okay, and so you need at least half of the nephrons to be damaged. Okay, and so that is why your creatinine clearance is used to determine the extent of nephron damage in known cases of renal disease. It is utilized to monitor the effectiveness of treatment. that is designed to prevent further damage of the nephron, and then it is used to determine the feasibility of administering medications. So that I mean this wherein the this can build up to dangerous blood levels. Okay, and so these ones again are the use or clinical utility of your clearance test or your creatinine clearance test. Beta-2 microglobulin, it dissociates from human leukocyte antigen at a constant rate and is rapidly removed from the plasma by glomerular filtration. Yes, it is a protein, but it has an 11,800 Dalton's molecular weight. Okay, and so that is why it will easily pass through the glomerular filter. And yes, your beta-2 microglobulin may be used to distinguish disorders of the kidneys as either glomerular or tubular. How is that? Simultaneous testing of urine and plasma beta-2 microglobulin will differentiate glomerular and tubular renal disease. Okay, and so taking a look at the results, if there is an increased beta-2 microglobulin levels in the blood, and low levels in the serum, then it indicates glomerular disorder. Again, if there is an increased levels of beta-2 microglobulin in the blood and low levels in the urine, then there is a glomerular disorder. In contrast, if the beta-2 microglobulin concentration in the serum is normal, while the beta-2 concentration in the urine is increased, then it indicates a tubular reabsorptive function or a tubular disorder. Okay, it indicates a tubular disorder accordingly. Okay. However, increased plasma concentration or increased plasma concentration of beta-2 microglobulin is a better indicator of decreased GFR than creatinine clearance test accordingly. Okay. On on the disadvantage side, your beta-2 microglobulin is not reliable on patients with immunologic history or with history of immunologic disorders or malignancy. Because of course, please note, it comes from human leukocyte antigen. Okay, and individuals with immunologic disorders or malignancy somewhat it involves your HLA. And yes, accordingly, your beta-2 microglobulin is a better indicator for tubular function than glomerular function accordingly. That is for your beta-2 microglobulin. It distinguishes or what they call differentiates glomerular and tubular renal disease. Your cystatin C. Cystatin C is a small protein that is produced at a constant rate by all nucleated cells. Okay, and so it has a molecular weight of 13,359 Daltons. And yes, your cystatin C is readily filtered by the glomerulus and reabsorbed in broken down by the renal tubular epithelial cells. It is completely broken down, meaning it does not return to the circulation. Okay, again, cystatin C is filtered by the glomerulus and reabsorbed by the tubules, but then it will not return to the circulation because your renal tubular epithelial cells will degrade your cystatin C. It will completely degrade your cystatin C. That is why it will not return to the circulation. Okay, and so with this, your serum concentration can be related directly to the glomerular filtration rate. Meaning, if there is an increased levels of cystatin C in the blood, then it will cause then it means there is a decreased GFR. Okay, if there is an increased levels of cystatin C in the blood, then it means that there is a decrease in glomerular filtration rate, or there is a decrease, or there is already a damage or disease occurring in the glomerulus. Okay, uh, monitoring the levels of cystatin C is recommended for pediatric patients, diabetic patients, and geriatric patients, and those who are geriatric meaning old people, and patients who are critically ill accordingly. Again, it is monitoring the levels of your cystatin C is recommended for pediatric, diabetic patients, geriatric patients, and critically ill. Please note that one advantage here is it is independent of muscle mass. It is independent of muscle mass, unlike creatinine clearance test that you need the corrections for muscle mass. And yes, accordingly, monitoring both the serum or plasma cystatin C and creatinine levels can provide even more accurate information on the GFR of the patient. Inulin clearance. Your inulin here is a polymer of fructose, and this one is stable. It is neither reabsorbed nor secreted. Okay, and it's not modified also by the body. Okay, and so, but then please note that your inulin clearance test, this one is administered via uh, IV. Okay, and so it is administered via intravenous infusion because your inulin is not absorbed by the gastrointestinal tract. That is why it should be administered to the patient using intravenous infusion. Again, your inulin, it is not modified by the body. It is neither reabsorbed nor secreted by your tubules. That is why it is the perfect, accordingly, it is your perfect candidate for your clearance test. However, it is an exogenous substance. It is an exogenous substance. And yes, again, so go back to the disadvantages of your exogenous substance. Okay, it is actually your inulin clearance, it is actually your original reference method. But then, of course, you have your new methods that are actually utilized today. Again, inulin is your original reference method, but then it is not performed anymore today. And the use of radioisotopes. It involves, of course, their administration of radionucleotides such as 125I iothalamate. Other radioisotopes like chromium-51 ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, they are utilized also. Also, your technetium-99 labeled diethylene triamine pentaacetic acid, or your 99-TC-DTPA, they are also utilized as a radio, and I mean as an exogenous markers. There is this non-radioactive contrast agent that you call as iohexol, is which is utilized in children. Your iohexol here is utilized in children, and this is non-radioactive contrast agent. Okay, the use of your radioisotopes provides a method for determining glomerular filtration through the plasma disappearance of the radioactive material. And yes, it enables the visualization of filtration in one or both kidneys. Okay, again, it enables the visualization of the filtration in one or both kidneys, and it can measure the viability of a transplanted kidney. It can measure the viability of a transplanted kidney. That is for your radio isotopes. We will end here. Okay, this has been Gael, reminding you to live fully, love deeply, Laugh often, keep learning, and never forget to enjoy the ride. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you around.